Mr. President, a few days ago, or about 2 weeks ago, I was surprised to read in an article that as part of the American Rescue Plan, there was this $30 million program that would be sending drug paraphernalia to people suffering from addiction in this country. And so I said something about it, and the administration came out and said, that's not true, we're not going to use it for that, we're not going to be sending out crack pipes or meth pipes to anybody. In fact, they even wrote a letter to a fellow senator here in that regard. So then I said, well, let's just make sure, right? Like, let's just file a bill language that just makes it clear that we're not going to be sending drug paraphernalia like a pipe or the things that work with a pipe, that taxpayers aren't going to be paying for that. And lo and behold, I was surprised by the response. And now when you read more carefully the letter that they wrote to Senator Blackburn, you see exactly what the problem is here. They don't plan on sending crack pipes or meth pipes to anybody. What they plan on sending is what they call a mouthpiece. And a mouthpiece isn't what you think. It's not like some flat thing that you put on your mouth. No, the mouthpiece is basically this cylindrical tube, straw-looking thing, that you attach to the crack pipe. So the pipe will have to be shared by the addicts, but they're each going to have their own little tube that they can attach to smoke it. Well, I just don't think the federal government should be paying for that, to send that to people. I think, frankly, this is insane. I think most people would agree, and I think most people would be surprised. And the things you discover when you actually file these things and work on it, because we came up with language. You said, okay, here's the bill, and here's what we want to do. And they came back and said, we will not agree to it if it includes that device that attaches to it. So apparently they don't want to send out crack pipes, but they do want to send out the tubes that attach to the crack pipes so that those who are addicted to crack or any of these other drugs, illicit drugs that you can smoke, can be consumed safely somehow, as if there's any safe way to smoke meth or crack, which there isn't. And so what I've come here to do today is very simple. I want this bill to pass. I don't know why anyone could possibly object to it unless you believe that you should be sending out cylindrical tubing, which attaches to a crack pipe to smoke, and that can be removed to allow multiple people to use the same pipe. And that's the loophole that they want. That's what they want me to change this bill to allow them to send out. And I think that's nuts, guys. I don't know how else to describe it. There's no like fancy word for it. It's crazy. This is insane. This is the kind of insanity that people read about and say, this can't be true. It is true. It's actually worse than I thought. And so that's why I'm hoping we can pass this today. Apparently there'll be an objection. But so, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee of Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions be discharged from further consideration of Senate 3632, Senate Bill 3632, and that the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. I further ask that the Rubio substitute amendment at the desk be considered and agreed to, the bill as amended be considered, read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
Mr. President.
Senator from Vermont.
Reserving the right to object, and I think my friend from Florida knows I will. You know, this entire issue is a misnomer. There have been a few the online things that try to make a big deal out of it, and I'm sorry that some have fallen for it, but the Biden administration released a letter this week clarifying this misunderstanding. The administration stated clearly they've never authorized use of federal funding for smoke pipes and will not in the future. In fact, I don't think any administration has. Of course, the bill that the senator from Florida is proposing would go much further. The Republicans say it would. It would severely cripple our ability to respond to addiction, which has taken 100,000 lives a year right now, including lives in his state and mine. We offered an alternative that was rejected. We actually have to go to the CR now. The House is gone. We have to pass it, CR, and send it to the president without amendments, or government funding runs out. And I might just say, everybody has a right to speak about anything they want. Everybody has a right to make any kind of political point for any group they want. But let's talk about being U.S. senators. A war is about to start in Ukraine, in all likelihood. And what we're saying is we will start putting all these things in, slow up a continuing resolution, so the United States government will have to shut down tomorrow night. And we can stand there and Putin can say, why should I listen to them? 3 or 4 people can go on their Senate floor and shut down the government. Why should I listen to them? So I object.
Objection is heard.
Mr. President,
Senator from Florida.
yeah, a couple things to be clear. I'm not slowing down the continuing resolution. This is my bill. It had nothing to do with the continuing resolution. The reason why we're not voting on the continuing resolution is because there's a bunch of people missing. And there are not enough people here yet to vote for it. That's why it's being slowed down. So I took this opportunity to offer my bill. And I would just say, my observation would be that Vladimir Putin's probably, if he is even paying attention, I don't know what time it is, he probably has his hands full with his plans to invade and conquer parts of Ukraine. I think he'd be wondering, why would I be scared of a country who's going to send out cylindrical tubing to people addicted to crack and meth? Because I think he probably thinks it's crazy too, as crazy as he is. So again, my bill goes, I get it. They're not going to send out pipes. That doesn't make me feel better, because they are going to send out, with the money of the American taxpayer, they are going to send out cylindrical tubing, which is attached to a crack pipe and can be removed. So each and every one of the people using that pipe, multiple people can use the pipe, but can use a different cylindrical tube to attach to it. And I just don't think the American people should be paying for that. And that's what HHS has basically admitted they want to do with this money. And I didn't think this was going to be controversial, but apparently it is, because there's been an objection. So here we are.
President,
Senator from Vermont.
suggestions made people aren't here to vote. Well, let's bring up the continuing resolution. Let's vote it up or down. Let's say the rest of the world, including Russia, the most powerful nation on earth, can stay open, or a few senators can say, no, golly, we got to get something on television. We ought to close down the government. The senator from Florida is welcome to bring up his bill sometime in regular order. Let's not slow up things now. Let's vote on the continuing resolution. Let's show the United States of America and the rest of the world that we can stay open and that we are not afraid to stay open. We will stay open, and we all, I think we could probably say unanimously, I would hope, oppose what Russia apparently is planning to do in Ukraine.